Detailing a city never ends. This is what makes your city feel realistic. This time we are focusing on the small things that never or barely gets detailed. The roads and the trees. Yeah, the second one is gonna sound a bit ridiculous, but hold on to that confusion for some time. Let me go. Let me know down in the comments what else you want to learn in terms of detailing. So we already are very well aware of the fact that textures in the game are really boring and just too clean. I think not even the freshly made roads are this clean or smooth. So we are going to add some texture to it to give it some feel, make it aged a bit. So for our experiments, we have this rosewood street over here. I'm going to show you 3 ways you can detail. I mean, there can be infinite ways to detail, but these are the most basic ones that you see here and there. To begin with, let's come to decals tab here and the ground surfaces where we have our real vision decals. Scroll through these for a good while until we find texture 97 road damage. You can see the size of the decal. It easily covers the 6-meter wide lanes, and we are going to line it up for the whole road section. And to save some time, we are going to use the grid tool to line them so that we don't have to place them one by one using the line tool. This gives you a nice base texture to work with. After this, we will come to the road section, and here Elgendo's newly added vanilla worn FX decals will help in adding more color and breakups in the decals that we have just placed. Now here's the catch. The results of this can vary depending on the color of the road you have, and to change the color of the road, you do that via Lumina. You have a separate section over here, and on the left you can change the opacity, brightness and smoothness of the roadway, the ugly vanilla white roadway that you see in the game. And I have changed mine to a dark gray color, and on the right you have the place to change the color of the actual road with the primary road color. Over here on the top you have an option to either randomize the color, which in my opinion gives you a better results, but you also have a color picker which will open a website from where you can choose whatever color you want, copy the hex code, paste it here and reload the textures. You also have the same effects as Surface 2, but using with the decals just adds the variations and it gives a little bit more varied look than the Surface. While placing, you can take a look how they change the look of the road, adding color variation and also overlapping on the road markings, making them a little worn. Now we place this decal over here. It covers the entire 4-lane road easily, and I think this is where I will take a detour and place this only on a half of the segment. Let's see how this little step changes the look of the road later on. For the other half, I will add the big cracks, but not line them, instead of just place them randomly here and there a couple of times. It still feels a little boring. In reality, roads also have a layer of dirt on them, and we have a decal for it. So let's see how it looks on both the sides of the road. It came out a lot more on the right side than on the left due to that one decal that we added. Pretty interesting, and I think both of them now have a very separate use case. I can see the right one being used more in the industrial area with the dirt and all. Now, if you still think the road that you're detailing is still not that worn down, the markings look they have been painted very recently, well, now it's the time to place the Elgendo's worn FX decals specifically on the markings. This will add more variations and worn on the markings as if they had been painted ages ago. The road looks sort of complete. The only thing remaining now is the sidewalk. So for our first half of the road, I will use this decal, try and line it up in such a way that it shows more on the sidewalk than the road. It gives us this beautiful texture for the sidewalk. Then on the other side, we can use the another technique. So we have this decal. One side of it is a bit dark than the other, and the lighter one can go on the sidewalk. And to make sure the darker one does not show up on the road, we can raise the elevation of the decal by 0.4 meters, which will show it only on the sidewalk. Now place it on either sides of the road, and then we will grab another decal to provide some variation to the remaining portion of the sidewalk, but this will go underground so that it doesn't show too much, you know. And just take a look how different both the roads texture look. Only difference in them being that one decal that we placed only on one side of the road. I'm leaving a few things that is remaining right now to detail for later on. Let's do the third road type real quick. We'll make sure this one stays a bit less worn than the other two. So to start with, we will use Elgando's worn surface to add the major color variation. Then the same road damage decal that we used in the other two, and I think this will be it for this road. I could go ahead and add some details manually to the road markings, making them a bit more worn down, of course depending on your liking of the road. Now the first thing out of the few that I said I have left is the tire marks. Whether it be a newly made road or an ancient prehistoric road, both will come across those particular drivers that some way or the other find a way to mark their territories with the aggressive braking. And for that we used Sully's tire wear decals on all the three road types. And I think I forgot the sidewalk here for our third road type, so for that we'll use this surface. It can be any surface. I found this one in particular a little interesting, hence I'm using this. It's a bit lighter, and also make sure to be a little careful for these because they can go on the road, so you know, just a heads up. Now I think the only thing remaining to detail for either of the three roads is some fallen leaves. Fallen leaves and some trash laying around on the road is something that we all have seen on the road. Maybe not in residential area, but more in downtown area. We are placing fallen leaves. Just sprinkle it on top a little bit and maybe use the side collected ones on the road edge. And I think this looks pretty good. And maybe finish this off with some storm drains. You can use either the circle one or the rectangular one. It's totally up to you. And just take a look how much it has changed now. It looks really interesting and also looks really realistic. Now I can clear you guys confusion on how to detail trees. So we have already learned and seen how to place foliage properly. Start with the smaller bushes, then place the big ones, and then some variety of heights of the trees like London plane, oak or spruce. Here you can see this looks way too flat. We have way too many trees that just cut off at one height. It's like somebody ran a lawnmower from the top. So to change that, I'm going to use Crypto Gamer's trees. He has made some massive trees by combining multiple of the same tree types, either of the same age or different ages all together to make it look enormous. We are starting with the dead trees, which I believe is made by the poplar tree. Then we move to the dead tree variations of the spruce, obviously massive in size. Then we come to a series of oaks of various sizes and shape and height. And as we keep placing them, you can vaguely get the idea on how big they are. The trees that you're seeing placed here, they are mainly mature and elderly, where they are big, but these are massive. Then we have a summer or spring version of the poplar tree that we just saw. And then we have a series of some hickory trees. Again, different sizes and shapes. We have some of the spruce variations that we have, and lastly this beautiful tree. Not sure from which tree this could be from, but you know, it looks good. If I start placing the vanilla trees at their peak height, then you can get a clear understanding of how tall these new trees are. Now to place them, I will not recommend spamming them like we did with the vanilla trees, as you will basically be repeating the same issue. We need some visible height difference between a dense area with trees, not a new height where it seems like we just ran another lawnmower. So let's place a few here and there where it makes sense. Not a lot, just a few. Change their actual assets just to add a bit of variety in height and assets. You can also take trees underground, maybe around -1 or -2 meters, and this is what happens. You can see there are some basketball players amidst your average height people. It just adds a little bit of variety and helps in breaking that flat lawnmower style tree placements. And these were two things that we all forgot and never really put a lot of thought into while detailing. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial or detailer's guide. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you are new or haven't already, join our Patreon like these people did. I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, happy building. Check out this video and this playlist too.